well from around the division. We're the last game to kick off, according to the BBC Sport app, but the game is underway here in Doncaster. Jake Carter collects the kick-off. It's going to then be fetched forward by Ross Ainley. Ainley's going to make it to around about 12-13 metres away from his line. Newton's in there at dummy half, goes right into the hands of Guy Graham. Graham's taken down, takes him 4 Dons defenders to do so, 22 metres away from his own line. Newton in there at dummy half, goes right into the hands of Luca Atkinson. Atkinson's going to be taken down, wearing 23, the number vacated by Evan Lover as he's now returned to Newcastle. King, Carter, then comes across to Owen McCarron. A traditional Owen McCarron run of keeping his legs pumping, but he's done where the Dons defenders have done well there. Took 3 of him to stop him. Whitehaven on their own 40, 10 short of halfway. Mason in there, sporting a new haircut. He's got rid of the slim shady look of earlier in the season, but it is now going to be 5 and last, exactly on halfway. Comes to the left foot of Jake Carter. Craig Hall's going to try and get underneath that. It's bounced, and it's going to be, is it going to be ruled a knock on? It is going to be, sorry, going to be ruled offside. I think that's a little bit harsh. I think that potentially went back from Craig Hall, but Ryan Cox is a lot closer than we are, and Whitehaven's got a decision to make. Either they continue to pile the pressure on in the early stages, or do they go for early points in what might be a tight encounter, Dave?
You know what, I think they're going to tap. You definitely want a bit of pressure here, don't you? And you want to be applying it. I'm with you on that. I think it was a little bit of a harsh call, to be honest, but the referee in a much better position than we are.
Take the tap, and Ross Ainley is to fetch it forward. Be interesting if we can capture the foot of Richie Horn from our left hand side. Let's hope the broadcastable throughout the afternoon. He's just sitting to our left hand side, only 2 or 3 metres away. Ryan King now then goes across to Lachlan Hannigan. Hannigan then comes across to Luca Atkinson. Atkinson trying to come back inside. There's 4 or 5 Doncaster defenders around him before pushing him back 4 or 5 metres. Whitehaven 6-7 metres out. King now then finds Carter looking to play here. Mason goes out to Dean Gebby. Gebby's going to have to try and step back inside. In fact, he gets the offload away to Curtis Tier. Probably not the best decision there from Dean Gebby. Can see what he was trying to do, trying to keep the play alive, but I don't think Curtis Tier was quite expecting it. And I'd say Whitehaven there just unlucky. Gebby trying with the offload, probably not the best decision, and Curtis Tier just took the punishment for that decision and being bundled into touch.
Yeah, to be fair to Curtis Tier, there was very little that he could do with that.
It was
a real scrappy offload which came his way from Dean Gebby. But credit the Doncaster defence as well, because they certainly put numbers in front, didn't they, and got him over the touchline. So Doncaster with their first use of possession a couple of minutes in now.
Yeah, the Dons fetching the ball forward, and they're going to be pulled down sort of 15 metres away. Burns has gone left. Just trying to see who that might be.
I think it's Talley in
could
possession.
Could be Jess, and Talley's going to be the man there. He's stopped down 22, 23 metres away. Burns then looks to go down the short side again. That's no mistake who that is. That is Brett Ferris on that left-hand side, the former England international, Leeds and Huddersfield Giant as well. Coming back into the middle now are the Dons. Just going to pass it along to Brad Knowles. Knowles is going to be the man that's wrapped up just over 40 metres away from his own line. 8 short of halfway. Coming back into the middle now. Nearly there. Dropped by that Doncaster man. It's going to be the 5 and last. They're just over halfway. Burns is then going to go left into the hands of Connor Robinson. Robinson left-footed as well, and Oscar Dordan just happened to come back here and wasn't too sure about that one. Was Oscar Dordan should have really allowed that to go. Oscar Dordan, they would have got a top 20 at Whitehaven, elected to take that. Maybe his brain a little bit frazzled by the fact that the ball had bounced, but he's done well to make it to 7 metres short of his try line there, Dave.
Yeah, he did fantastically well actually to get out, because he put himself under all kinds of pressure really, didn't he, by having to go at the ball and then had work to do. But then they've gone and knocked on a Whitehaven and following up just a couple of tackles into the set, and Doncaster will have the opportunity of putting some pressure on here.
Yeah, Joey Romeo's the man judged to have knocked on in that tackle, and that all stems from just not that decision. Oscar Dordan, he just didn't quite get set. The ball was behind him, he had to try and get it, but then if he'd let the ball go dead, it'd been a tap 20 in a 7 tackle set for Whitehaven.
I think he'd already got hands to it though. I think that was part of it, or it
maybe why you're trying to keep it in, of course.
So he was trying to rush his way back, but you're right, he certainly applied the pressure, and Doncaster looking to try and put points on.
Well, Dons, how often do you see a try from the first play of a scrum? We're not going to see it on that occasion, as Luke Briscoe is fetched down, but looking to go back inside now to Boas. Boas then gets it across then to Brad Knowles. Knowles is going to be the man that's wrapped up. About 5 metres out here are the home side. Burns is going to go left into the hands of Watson Boas. Now to Robinson, out the back then to Craig Hall. Craig Hall just knocks it on one-handed And that's all thanks down to the Whitehaven pressure and the line speed there. Joey Romeo trying to make amends for his header. Fantastic line speed from the Kiwi, and just too much pressure there for Hall to take it and put the pass in. Hall tried to knock it along. It's gone behind the Dons attackers and it's gone into touch, and it's going to be a turnover ball for Whitehaven.
Yeah, a bit of an overplay there really, to be honest, from Craig Hall. Perhaps would have been better just taking the hit, although it's easy for me to say from 70 metres away when Joey Romeo was really putting the pressure on and was probably going to rattle his ribcage.
So Whitehaven fetching it forward now as they play the ball 10 metres out. Just over 5 minutes gone here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online. It's still Doncaster 0, Haven 0. Now Curtis Tier, the former Waff Brown man's going to be stopped sort of 18 metres away from the try line. Guy Graham now, Scottish international.
Good search.
He's going to be the man that's taken down. 28 away from his own line in centre field here at Whitehaven, going to go right into the hands of Hannigan. Hannigan just pops it up to Luke Atkinson, and that's going to be a penalty. Going through plenty of work in the early going is the Huddersfield Giants Loney, who was close to the line a few minutes ago, and then he's been given the penalty there for a high shot.
So 2 early penalties as well to Whitehaven, but they've got a real chance to escape their own half, haven't they? Because they've been put under a bit of pressure in these early stages from Doncaster. So let's see if they can now build their way back into it.
So they've made sort of 35 metres away from the Doncaster line with that kick from Lachlan Hannigan. Romeo takes a tap, finds Hannigan, gets it across then to Ross Ainley. He's been stopped 30 metres out. It's going to go down the short side now into the hands of Hannigan. Hannigan looking to get through, offered the pass but elected to keep it himself, did the Australian. So 15 metres out now, 10 in from the far right hand side touchline, which is the east stand here at the Eco Power. Ross Ainley taking his second play in this set, but Whitehaven are 8 metres out now to the right hand side of the post. Newton going to come across then to Hannigan. Hannigan then finds Guy Graham. Guy Graham's going to power his way over from short range underneath the sticks. Is the big prop forwards. It's just his second try of the season for the Scottish international, but Whitehaven taking early lead here in South Yorkshire. Just 7 minutes on the clock. It is Doncaster 0, Whitehaven 4.
There was a complete misread in defence then from Doncaster. Brad Knowles holds his arm aloft and says, that was on me, boys. But fair play to the run from Guy Graham as well. It was the slightest little variation in his run that took him past him, and it was a really good surge. He's shown that with a couple of earlier touches actually, and it's a good chance and one that Whitehaven had taken with great aplomb to put them in front. And now it's going to be Carter to attempt the extras from bang in front of the post.
Still only his 4th season in rugby league is Guy Graham. He come on trial initially back in 2021, son of George Graham, former Scottish Rugby Union international, but played up at Carlisle with Gary Charlton as well all them years ago. But happy to, and he just seems to be getting better and better as he learns rugby league, as Carter has knocked the conversion over to make it Dons 0, Haven 6 here. But just going back to Guy Graham there, he seems to be one of them that just seems to be learning the game. He seems to be learning them little nuances now that a prop forward might be expected to learn, compared to even say 10 years ago when it was put your head down and run.
Yeah, I mean that run was anything but that, wasn't it? As you said, there was a little nuance, a little shift of the hips, a slight step. It completely bamboozled Brad Knowles, who realised it'd been done as soon as Graham had got through, and yeah, that's the result. 6 points to 0 in favour of Whitehaven.
I'm glad I've set my clock, because I've just noticed referee Ryan Clocks has stopped the clock and it hasn't stopped on the scoreboard. So I'm quite glad I've got mine running to my left hand side here. I'm not too sure yet. Lachlan Hannigan's just getting some running repairs from Courtney, the Whitehaven physio, just getting his head strapped. So whether that is a pre-existing one, because he's not going to have to leave the field. So you normally any sort of head these days straight away, that's it, you're coming off. But it just seems to be maybe he's picked up maybe a knock earlier there as Lachlan Hannigan, maybe from a previous game, and he's just maybe wanting some strapping. Out there is the Australian. So it is going to be game back underway here. 8.5 minutes gone at the Eco Power. Dean Gebby collects the kick-off and he's met by his fellow Papua New Guinean Watson Boas, and I think Boas is just going to stay there at dummy half and maybe say, sorry mate, I didn't quite mean to catch you like that, but he doesn't. He just runs away, and Curtis T is the man now going to be pushed back by the Doncaster defence. He plays the ball horizontally, virtually from the same position that Dean Gebby done. McCarran now looking to do the hard yards, and he's going to be wrapped up 25 away from his own line. Newton in there at dummy half, going into the middle now with the hands of Carter. Carter runs it across the line, then comes across to King. There was an option out there for an overlap out the back, but elected to just find King there. Did Carter. Now going to be Newton that scoots from dummy half, then goes to Guy Graham. A little bit too close together there with Graham and Newton, and the pass didn't have the effect that it wanted, so Whitehaven has stopped short of their own 40 on the 5 and last now. Going to go right into the hands of Hannigan. Hannigan puts the kick in, rolls it end over end, and it's going to bounce away from Craig Hall, and that's going to end up being nearly a fantastic kick, and he slips there, does Craig Hall. The chase is there from Whitehaven, and they're going to pin him behind his own 10 metres there. Good chase from Whitehaven, but a bit of a slip there from Craig Hall.
Yeah, he showed his casual best and worst there, didn't he? Because he was like waiting for the bounce, and then the ball trickled past him, and it gave him a lot of work to do. And now Doncaster trying to push their way beyond their own 30-metre line through Tarley, who'll play it.
He does play it. Burns in there at dummy half, fetching it across now. The Dons, but it's a good hit up there from Owen McCarran. King gets involved, as does Guy Graham. And it's still short of their own 40 here are the Dons on the 4th tackle. Burns then comes across then to Keelan Foster. Foster's going to be the man that stopped short of halfway, and it is the 5 and last. Going to come right into the hands of Boas. Boas is going to put the kick in. Mason should easily collect that, and he does on the full 10 metres away from his own line. And he just slows up a little bit, does Jake Mason, just surveying the situation. In the end, just runs into the Doncaster line, 20 metres away from his own line. Dons 0, Haven 6, BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online.
I think, like you were saying there, he sort of like just surveyed what was coming in front of him, didn't he? Because it was quite a laboured chase really on the kick, but he just thought, you know what, we'll conserve our energy. It's a bit of a warm afternoon. We'll get set and we'll go again.
King now fetching it forward. He's 33 metres away from his own line, stopped in the middle. Gebby's in there at dummy half, of all people. Looks to try and find a broken line there, does the Papua New Guinea. And we've seen that a few times when you joined us previously at Halifax there, Dave, but not able to get through on that occasion. Hannigan's going to put the kick in, just stays in the field to play a fantastic kick. It's going to be a turnover ball, but 15 metres away from their own line here for Whitehaven, for Doncaster. And it's going to be the Dons have got the hard yards to do to fetch this ball forward. Just over 11 minutes gone. Yeah,
just looking at the first sort of like 11-12 minutes of the game, and it's Hannigan that's really impressed me so far. I just thought before he took a direct run at the defence, didn't he, and really asked the questions. He's obviously got a decent kicking game as well, and they can really work off the back of it.
I'll tell you one, a couple of people will be listening to will be happy with that. His mum and dad who are back home in Australia, and we've spoken to them, so they're going to be happy with that. They won't be happy, however, that Whitehaven have just given a penalty away, their first of the afternoon, judged to have been holding down too long in that tackle. And it's the first penalty they've conceded this afternoon. Craig Hall is going to be the man to put this into touch, and got plenty of metres on that as Craig Hall, and it's going to be playing this exactly on halfway. Briscoe gets the ball then inside to Brad Hare. Hare then finds his second rower in Alex Sutcliffe, and the Sutcliffe fetches the ball forward. He's taken down short of the Whitehaven 40. Goes across then into the hands of Brad Knowles. Knowles gets the offload away into the hands of Burns, who then finds a loose forward Louis McConnell. McConnell's going to be wrapped up, put down exactly 30 metres out in the centre of the field. Going to have options right and left here. Going to go left then into the hands, couple of heads hands of Ferris. Ferris then gets it back inside to Jason Tarry, but good Whitehaven defence there to recover. Atkinson and Guy Graham involved. Now just running it forward is Keelan Foster. Foster's going to be stopped. Still a couple of tackles left in this set, and the Dons are only within 15 metres. Burns scoots from dummy half, then gets the pass across to Watson Boas, then out the back to Hall. Hall then finds here. Whitehaven defence needs to stand up here, and it does, but they're only 2-3 metres out here are the Dons. 5 and last. Hall in at dummy half, goes across to Boas. Boas is again going to look to put the kick through. It's charged down. Is it play on? Is it going to be a knock on? What are we going to get? Is it going to be knocked down from Whitehaven? I think he's the call from Ryan Cox. And we're about to wait and see if he gives a turnover ball. No, it's going to be a scrum down, head and feed here to Doncaster. Still hasn't come yet, but we can see the Whitehaven players challenging this decision, so they're going to have another opportunity here at the home side. Just over 13 minutes gone. Still Dons 0, Haven 6.
To be fair, I agree with that. I know it was all a little bit scrappy on the last. They've done well to race up at Boas and stop him from getting a good contact, but the secondary kick was just knocked on, unfortunately, from a Haven point of view.
Number short on that right hand side of Whitehaven, but the Connor Robinson elects, doesn't put the pass out, but he does get the offload away into the hands of Brett Ferris. Ferris then puts it back inside to Farimo. Farimo is just stopped short of the line. There's 3-4 Whitehaven defenders in there.
It's a powerful left side, that, isn't it?
Really is. Burns in there at dummy half, then comes across to Robinson. Robinson then comes across to McConnell. McConnell's going to be stopped. Centre field, Graham and Atkinson involved. Ross Ainley then comes across out to Boas. Boas then just gets on the little short ball to Alex Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe is going to be pulled down, only a metre short of the line. Burns is in there at dummy half, comes back to Boas. Boas then comes across just on to Brad Knowles. Knowles is stopped right under the black dot, 5 metres out, goes left into the hands of Robinson. Robinson with the dummy once, dummy twice. King surely have caught him high, and he has. And it's going to be another set here, and Richard Horn straight away just gets the message on, let's keep this pressure on. 14 and a half gone here on BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. The Dons are turning the screw.
Yeah, reactionary tackle there, to be honest, and nice stepping from Robinson. He's another player that can do that, can he, and just change his position, and it's put the pressure on. Can the Dons turn it into points? Well, McConnell's driven himself within inches of that line.
He certainly has. Burns in there, the dummy half comes right to Boas. Boas then looks to come back inside from where that players came from. There's gaps there. He's now on the other side of the field. Then going to be down. It's bounced into the hands of Farimo. Farimo's then looking to come back inside. Stop there. Atkinson's in there. Romeo's in there. Lachlan Hannigan's in there. 2 or 3 metres away. Burns is in there at dummy half. Robinson then runs across the line, now finds Craig Hall. Hall then takes it to the line, then finds Brad Hare. Hare then looks to get on the outside of Curtis Tier. He's pulled down there. Gebby got involved as well, but mostly done by Curtis Tier. Hall in a dummy half, then Boas, then into the hands then of Keelan Foster. Foster's going to be the man that's pulled down. Whitehaven's defence holding strong here, so got a couple of tackles to survive. Burns in there, then goes across to Boas. Boas and out the back to Robinson, then Ferris then gets the ball on. It's going to be knocked back, knock on, and Whitehaven have survived. Going to go over the offload themselves and find Oscar Doran, and I think after all that we're going to come back for the scrum down. Whitehaven defence holds strong, and they've got to take some confidence from that.
You know, fair play to Whitehaven there. They were really organised. You know, Doncaster were trying to switch the point of attack. They were heading off down this right side, then heading off down the left. There was a couple of little hook balls looking for players to come back through the middle. It didn't faze Whitehaven at all. That's certainly something that Jonty Gorley must be so impressed with, and they've done really well to maintain the nil so far.
Just over 16 minutes gone here in Doncaster. Still Dons 0, Haven 6. Ball goes right from the base of the scrum into the hands of Joey Romeo. Romeo makes it to just short of his own 20. Mason's in there at a dummy half. It's going to be Oscar Doran now to fetch that ball forward. The back's helping out there forwards on what is a warm day out here in South Yorkshire. I'd love to tell you how warm it is, but we're in the shade as Curtis Teal is now the man to fetch it forward. But he's done well there as Curtis Teal, and he's hauled down 35 away from his own line. They have definitely done work on a Dean Gebby, because Greg Burns was dove from dummy half there as Gebby had jumped in at dummy half to try and find a gap in this defence. Guy Graham is the man that's hauled down. It is the 5 and last, a metre short of halfway. Carter gets the kick in, then left footed. Craig Hall's going to have all day to collect that, and he does. And then he's now looking to fetch his ball forward, but he's going to be stopped 22 metres away from his own line.
It's like having a Rolls Royce at the back, isn't it, with Craig Hall? He just makes everything look so laid back and so simple. Effortless, yeah. And I mean there he looks up, he scans, he runs across the field and still gains 10 metres, but Doncaster now making a break.
Robinson through on that left hand side, 1-on-1 with Jake Mason. Faremo on his right hand side. Oscar Doran's going to try and haul him down, and fair play to Oscar Doran, he does, but he's then told go back to play the ball. Luca Atkinson then dives in at marker. Whitehaven's defence is at 6 and 7s, but have done well to regather. McConnell's now fetching it forward. Try stopped by Oscar Doran there, fetching down, hauling down Faremo. Now Boas just surveying the situation, finds Sutcliffe back inside, going to be taken down. It's the 5 and last. Dons are 10 metres out. Burns is in there at dummy half, going to go across to Robinson. Robinson left footed, and Oscar Doran's going to try and rise the highest, and he's jumped in goal, or has he got out? What's going on there? Whatever it is, he's done well to stay in the field of play, as Oscar Doran is eventually going to play it half a metre, if that, away from his own try line. Fantastic work from the young winger on that right hand side.
Yeah, the Doncaster fans weren't happy with it, but he did ever so well, didn't he, to escape the clutches there. And now there's a penalty which goes the way,
and you can hear what the Whitehaven fans think about that. I think it was them calling for calls on that side that felt like Oscar Doran had been held down initially But it is then going to be a penalty here to Whitehaven, and a much relieving penalty, Dave, because they were getting pinned in that right-hand side corner.
Yeah, and this is the one disappointing aspect of Doncaster's play so far, because a couple of times when they've really had Whitehaven on the rack, and then they've given away a daft penalty, they've been caught offside, or they've been a little bit too keen. They've just got to slow it down themselves, haven't they, and slow themselves down. But Whitehaven won't complain. They've got the advantage on the scoreboard, and they've got the ball.
Just over 19 minutes as we make it here in Doncaster. Joey Romeo trying to be a little bit sneaky there. The ball had bounced back onto the field. He just nonchalantly went and picked it up and tried to get him 4 to 5 metres further forward in the process. Referee Ryan Cox had told him to go back and play it from where it was, but Atkinson's going to take Whitehaven over the halfway line here, and he showed some strength to found his front, because there was 3 Doncaster defenders on him there. Newton's in a dummy half, comes across to Hannigan, then comes across to Ryan King. King then shapes the dummy and really out then spins out to the tackle, then finds Guy Graham. The ball's hitting the floor. Is it going to be Lachlan Hannigan that picks it up? It's judged to have come off a Doncaster man. It's a fresh set at 6 for Whitehaven. They are 22 metres out here. Newton is lying in wait at dummy half, going to go left, then into the hands of Guy Graham, and the shout from that following that is Paulie to get on the field. So he'll be coming onto the field for the next attacking set for Doncaster, but it's now coming left to Carter, out the back to Tia. Tia's trying to check on Watson Boas, but he's going to be wrapped up there, trying to get a fast play of the ball. He's Tia trying to then back inside as Dean Gebby. Can he get the ball down? Can he stay in the field of play? No, he can't get the ball down. Yes, he can stay in the field of play. He's inches away from the try line. Tia in there at dummy half. Carter comes then into the middle now to Ross Ainley. Ainley just tries to get that little run on. It's going to be the 5 and last. 10 metres out down the short side of Whitehaven. Newton, Carter. Feel like Whitehaven, it's not the worst place in the world to be turning the ball over, but if they were serious about going back to 4-pointer, I think this short side was going to be far too congested.
I have to admit, I don't mind that as a player, though. I think it shows confidence, and obviously they're targeting Boas because they know how dangerous he can be with the ball. So if they can get him involved in as many tackles as they can, then they're doing the job, and it'll keep him quiet on the other side, won't it?
End of the first quarter here in South Yorkshire. Still Dons 0, Haven 6. Judged to have knocked on at the play of the ball there. Is it Luke Briscoe, the man, the former Leeds Rhino, is going to be the man to have judged to have incorrectly played that ball, or at least knocked on, because it's going to be a scrum down, head and feed to Whitehaven, 10 metres out, as Paulie has come onto the field for the home side.
It was an awful play, the ball, that awful, and sometimes you just wish that players just take that extra half second to get these things right, because let's be honest, we see so many errors, don't we, from that area.
Keelan Foster was the man to leave the field, but Carter now comes across then to Curtis Tia on the crash ball. Curtis Tia, he's still going. He's got to have got that ball down. He hasn't. It's fantastic defence from Doncaster at the second attempt, but he's a metre away. Newton in there at dummy half, going to go right into the hands of Hannigan. Hannigan then finds King with the dummy, looking to come back inside. Dons have certainly done their homework, because they knew what was coming and was able to stop the Italian international. Just to the right hand side of the post now, 9 metres out, ball in the hands of Hannigan. Hannigan then comes across to Luca Atkinson, spins out to one, there does Atkinson, but he's going to be stopped by taking 4 Doncaster defenders to do so. Then coming to cross now to Hannigan. Hannigan then finds Graham. He finds his front as Guy Graham. To the right hand side of the post, just 3 metres out. King then comes out the back to Mason. Mason puts a little kick forward, trying to get down, and look, Bristol's going to be aware, because he's got to span out to 1, span out to 2, and they're trying to get him in touch, Mason and Hannigan. He done well there, did Luke Briscoe, because it was just a neat little kick from Jake Mason. But there's going to be no markers there, and it should be a knock-on. It is going to be a knock-on by Watson Boas, correctly played on this occasion by Luke Briscoe, but Boas in his haste to try and get away from that sort of dummy half position, which was very congested, because both Whitehaven markers were lying on the floor, not in position. In his haste, his speed to try and get away was a Papua New Guinean. He's dropped the ball on, scrum down, head and feet to Whitehaven.
And there's an example of why you keep running at him and why you keep doing, because you tire him out, perhaps not physically but mentally. So he's got the transition and he's got to manage that, and he didn't do very well on that occasion. It was an excellent pick-up, to be honest, from Briscoe. It was a fair kick into the corner, actually, and there was 2 Whitehaven players that were after it, and then the chase back from Whitehaven was tremendous as well. But the real chance for Haven to put further points on here.
So Whitehaven with another opportunity, a bit further out compared to the previous scrum. But Hugh Worthington is coming onto the field now to replace Guy Graham. Gebby is in there at dummy half. Shout a forward pass. You can hear what the Doncaster fans think of that one. Referee Ryan Cox just happy it was a fair pass. But Whitehaven now, 15 metres out, comes across to King. King just a little pop-up pass to Ross Ainley, spins his back and going into that tackle. There's Ross Ainley. 10 metres out. Newton then comes across now to Carter. Carter looking to exploit a little gap there that had opened up in the Dons defence. Left-hand side of the post, 3 metres out. Then comes across to Ryan King on the crash ball. He must only be half a metre short there. Fantastic defence from the home side. It's the 5 and last. Coming left into the hands of Carter. Got to go over the top. Mason then finds Curtis Tier. Tier should be over, and he is on this left hand side. Curtis Tier got over there, just being able to put the pressure on. Have Whitehaven. It's his 4th try of the season. 24 minutes gone here in Doncaster. It's Doncaster 0. It's Whitehaven 10.
Oh, to be honest, I mean that was great play from Whitehaven. Then they lulled Doncaster into a false sense of security. They stacked the middle. They kept going at the middle. And then the switch play down this left-hand side. A sumptuous pass from Mason finding Tier, and then he had all the strength in the world to brush off a bit of an ineffective tackle and place the ball down emphatically for, as you said, his 4th try of the season. Let's hope there's a few more where that's come from.
Certainly saw the former Waff-Brow Junior, of course, and played plenty of open age fixtures for the Hornets. Represented the community lines, which I know you'll have seen him do on plenty of occasions as well, Dave. Of course, coming to the professional game with Workington, had half a season at Derwent Park before a mid-season switch then to Whitehaven a few years ago now, and has been pretty much an ever-present for Jonty Gorley's side since. We're here live from Doncaster, BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. And Jake Carter is going to be the man that's going to be lining up this conversion. Still no scored in Super League. Salford 0, London 0. It's Batley 4, Sheffield 6. Bradford Bulls 16, Barrow 0. Featherstone 12, Swinton 6. York Knights 6, Widnes 0. Clock is stopped as Jake Carter's gone over his allotted time. Back on now, so he comes at it left-footed, does Jake Carter. Hits the right-hand side post and goes over. Fantastic from Jake Carter. 2 from 2 this afternoon. He's the Whitehaven halfback, and it's now Dons 0, Haven 12.
You know, the luck might be in with kicks like that if they're going in off the post. I've just been pretty impressed really with the way that Whitehaven have built this game so far. The pack is doing a tremendous job. Luca Atkinson, he's not the biggest of second rowers. You can tell that he's still developing, but he's took it more than his first share of carries so far down that right hand side, and as I mentioned, they've done well so far, Whitehaven.
And judged, however, you've mentioned that's the commentator's courtesy of Parkinson.
I'm so sorry.
Because Whitehaven, there seemed to be no one in sort of that position where they should be to collect the ball from the kick-off. I don't know whether Jake Carter hadn't got back in position yet, but it had bounced. Hugh Worthington collected it essentially on the dead ball line and was judged to have his foot on that dead ball line, and it's now a goal line dropout, of which Carter kicks left-footed. Connor Robinson collects 38 metres away from his own line, and then Farimo now fetches it forward, and he's going to be hauled down 23 metres away, 25 maybe actually, from the Whitehaven line. Robinson now then comes across, nearly dropped there by Brad Knowles and kept hold of at the second attempt. Still haven't seen the opportunity yet for Paulie to fetch a ball in. Is he going to do on this occasion? He comes right, burns Alex actually to scoop from dummy half, then finds Robinson, then finds Craig Hall just trying to push off there Luke Atkinson, but keeps hold alongside Lachlan Hannigan as well, and that is going to be a scruffy play the ball, but it's okay to play on. Still comes out the back now to Boas then finds Sutcliffe trying to get away from Carter, gets inside a Tier, but Carter keeps hold, and McCarran that helps him complete the tackle. 10 metres out are the Dons. Boas now then comes across to Paulie takes 3 Whitehaven defenders to stop him, but they do. It's the 5 and last, 5 metres out, in line with the right hand side post. Burns is in there at dummy half. Robinson's going to come back, crossfield kick. Hayes there, Briscoe's there. It's going to be knocked back, and it's going to be knocked back into the hands of Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe has dropped that ball, and you feel like that should have been a certain 4-pointer because the Whitehaven defence had to recover fairly quickly, but they did well, and the ball's found touch.
You know, fair play to Dean Gebby there. It looked for all the world like that was going to be a try for Alex Sutcliffe. Wonderful in the air there from Doncaster, then being able to bat the ball back inside, but somehow they were able to keep them out, and the scoreline remains 12-0 in favour of Whitehaven.
Certainly does. A few interchanges out there now for Jonty Gorley. Jamie Doran and Lucas Castle is going to be the man that they're introduced to replace James Newton and Ross Ainley respectively. Lucas Castle, his first introduction to the game is for him to be absolutely smashed, but gets up, plays the ball, and it's now McCarron that's just been hauled down just over the 20 metre mark. Dorden in there at dummy half, comes left to Carter, then out back to Mason. Luke Briscoe knew exactly what was coming there and was able to just be picked up and put onto the floor by Luke Briscoe, was the Italian international. Lucas Castle is now the man again to fetch it forward. He's stopped 12 short of halfway. Dorden in there at dummy half. Scoots and then finds Hugh Worthington. Worthington again finds Owen McCarron, trying to find a gap there. He's the Australian and he's stopped just 2 metres short of halfway. Jamie Dorden's in there at dummy half. Going to elect to come left down the short side to Jake Carter. Carter's just going to drill it into the floor. Bounces a couple of times, but kindly into the hands of Craig Hall, who throws it across then to Ferrimo. Ferrimo's then going to be stopped there on his own, to be fair, by Luke Atkinson, with Lachlan Hannigan then getting involved as well. So it's going to be now Jason Talley to fetch it forward. He's stopped 30 metres out. Hall's lining weight at dummy half. Goes down the short side into the hands then of Ferris. Ferris looks to step inside. It's made 10-11 metres there before being stopped by a combination. The Australians, Hannigan and King. Burns in there, dummy half now. Comes across McConnell. McConnell offers it up and then elects to take the line on himself. Lucas Castle and Jamie Dorden affect the tackle. They're 5 short of halfway here are the Dons. Goes left into the hands of Paulie. Castle's in there, King's in there, Atkinson's in there, and he's stopped. He's
done 2 big carries already as Paulie, but I've noticed there's not been anybody on his shoulder, and he's a player that can offload, isn't he?
Of course he can. Paulie. Robinson's going to put the kick in on the 5 and last. Mason's there, comfortably takes it, and then offers it up to Adine Gebby. Gebby's trying to get through. He's met there by his Papua New Guinean compatriot Watson Boas. He's stopped 18 metres away from his own line. Curtis Tia now is the man to fetch it forward. I think Nathan Wilde's out there as well now for the Dons.
The man with no number.
That's how I noticed it. I knew it was Nathan Wilde. But Whitehaven continue to fetch it forward. It's going to be McCarron here to play the ball. Jamie Dorden in there at dummy half, offers it up, finds Lucas Castle. Castle's on his front, 12 short of halfway in centre field. Going to come left into the hands of Jake Carter, potentially looking for a 40-20 here is Jake Carter. Angle isn't quite right if it is, but it's going to bounce, and it's just got too much of a bounce on, too much of a good surface here at Doncaster for it to hold up, and it's going to be a tap 20 in a 7 tackle set to the Dons. The real first header that Whitehaven I can remember making.
Yeah, and to be fair, you've got to make sure, haven't you, with those type of kicks. I know it's a difficult thing to do and get right, but as you say, it gives away that extra tackle, and sides can really make advantage from it, can't they? Especially when you've got such a big back line and such a physical left side as what Doncaster have.
So continue to fetch the ball forward. Now it's Nathan Wilde, the man to fetch his forward. He's shouting for offside at referee Ryan Cox, but Ryan Cox happy with where the defensive line was of Atkinson and Worthington that affected that tackle. Craig Hall now makes a good few metres as he's been hauled down 39 metres away from the Whitehaven line. 5 in from the far touch line. Comes across now to McConnell. McConnell then finds Boas. Boas trying to see what was on, and there wasn't too much on, but escaped from Lucas Castle. But it's going to be Jamie Dorden, and then Castle gets re-involved to fetch him down.
Great defence from Carter there. I know he didn't make the tackle, but he forced Boas to turn back to the inside.
So Dons continue to fetch the ball forward there. 25 metres away from the Whitehaven line. It is 5 and last. 32 minutes gone here in South Yorkshire. It's going to go left to Robinson. It's going to go for the kick over the top. Jake Mason is there, and he's going to spin out of one tackle there, who's Jake Mason, before being great down. Fantastic full-back play there, jumping in the air for that.
You know, he was so confident then, wasn't he? You knew that he was going to get it. You knew he was going to make metres off the back of it. But it was actually a pretty good kick as well. I'm liking the way this game's sort of settling into a bit of a rhythm now.
Curtis T now with ball in hand. Whitehaven have shifted it from right to left. And he's going to be pulled down 20 short of his own line there. Dean Gebby, they're trying to use Gebby there, but Dons have really done their homework. He always gets the offload away into the hands of Jay Carter. Carter's then going to make 10, 15, 20 metres for being pulled down. The Whitehaven are playing this now, 5-6 metres short of halfway. Dorden screaming for a penalty in a dummy half, but now finds Lucas Castle. King then finds Hannigan. Hannigan's then going to put the kick in and says, come on, let's chase this. Hannigan's on the chase, Romeo's on the chase, collected on the bounce by Craig Hall. Romeo's there, Hannigan's there, and pins him on his own 20 metres.
That was a great bit of play, that from Whitehaven. Very controlled set, and then the good kick off the back of it. Nice chase as well. Hall had nowhere to go, and as a result, Doncaster just 2 tackles into the set. They're only 25 metres away from their own line. So
it's now Jason Talley looking to fetch it forward, and he's going to be pulled down just over the 30-metre line. Atkinson in there, Worthington in there. They're striking up a little bit of a partnership, them two in defence in the last few sets. That's going to be a high tackle straight away, and I think it just hit chest and shoulder first, and then has just, I think, come up after that, and it looked a little bit more dramatic. It was, because Briscoe was just able to fall down to the floor there as well. But I think referee Ryan Crox will definitely want a word here. Has now stopped the clock there. Jamie Doran is going to have a word, because he'll be the de facto captain out there, with now James Newton leaving the field, and I think he's just having a few words with his judges here. It's referee Ryan Cox. Of course, they're all mic'd up these days, so they don't need to go and have a conversation with each other. But with 6 minutes and 20 seconds, they're going to pull out Lucas Castle here. I think in fact, they're pulling everyone out, as it's going to be King that's been the nominated captain instead. He's pulling out Lucas Castle as well. The fact that he's going to speak to Lucas Castle first tells me we might be seeing a little bit more than a penalty here, Dave.
It was an ugly challenge, wasn't it? I know there wasn't too much in it, but it was still an ugly challenge. You can't do that these days, and as a result, Whitehaven will be down a man for the next 10 minutes with the sin bin in for Castle. Yeah, it didn't look good. It didn't look good on first viewing.
It didn't look good, no. And I thought initially he'd just maybe hit his chest and shoulder, but he did definitely ride up and come over the top of Luke Briscoe. So it's going to be the Whitehaven for the remainder of this first half, and the first sort of 3.5 minutes of the second half. We're going to be down to 12 men, and it's gone on report as well. Sin binning and on report. Ryan Cox has certainly said something in that, enough to make sure that it isn't left to the match review panel to pick it up.
It was a shame, because up until that point, all of Castle's involvements have been tremendous since going on about 5-6 minutes earlier. So let's see what Whitehaven have, whether they can keep themselves organised, whether they can keep Doncaster at bay. I get the feeling Doncaster, the pressure's building on themselves. They're putting a bit of pressure on to try and come up with something.
They want something now in this 6 minutes before half time. But Wild's the man to fetch it forward. He's pulled down 29 metres away from the Whitehaven line. Paulie now bursts through one, and he's made 20 metres there as Paulie.
But again, no one on his shoulder.
No one on his shoulder. Centre field goes left into the hands of Robinson. Out the back then, Johnny Romeo nearly picked the pass there, but found Craig Hall. Hall then finds McConnell. McConnell then takes it forward, spins out to one tackle. McConnell, he's fetched down. He's a metre short, just to the left hand side of the post. We make it 5.5 to the half time break. Now Boas then finds Sutcliffe, then finds here, trying to get it out to Briscoe, and he does, and the Dons are in on this right hand side, just had the man advantage, and Briscoe, despite Curtis Tia trying to get back in defence, was just able to step inside. There was a man overlap on this side. They've worked it well at the home side. They've gone over, and it's Luke Briscoe. It's just his third try of the season as I make it. Normally a bit more prolific is Luke Briscoe, but in his 12th appearance, it's his third try of the season. Dons are on the board. Dons 4, Haven 12.
The third try was worth waiting for, wasn't it? It was really well worked, and again, rugby league can be such a simple game, can't it, when you actually get the basics right? So you got the real tough stuff in the middle of the field. McConnell had been hauled down just a metre and a half short of the line, perhaps even a little bit closer than that, and then there was nice link up down this right hand side, and they fell for the 3-card trick basically, did Whitehaven, as you mentioned, perhaps a little bit short because of the man in the middle who would normally be there and probably filling in the gap, and as a result, when they've shifted the ball, there is a little bit more space, and let's be honest, Briscoe's been taking those opportunities all the way through his career, hasn't he?
He certainly has, as Luke Briscoe, like you say, that man may be caught short in the middle, but also the fact that Lucas Castle isn't out there as well. There's a little bit of space that Whitehaven needed to cover, and they just weren't able to cover that. And it now gives Connor Robinson an opportunity down below us to trying to add the extras, see if there's any further scores from around rugby league. Salford now 4-0 up. Sheffield now 12-4 up. Banner's got it back to 16-10 at Odsall. Featherstone 18, Swinton 20. as Robinson. That is an awful kick.
Well,
I don't say it often, but that was an awful kick. So waved away. It remains Doncaster 4, Haven 12. It's York Knights 14, Widnes 0. Bit of a shock that one, I think, coming through. Full time from a 1 o'clock kick-off. Cornwall 30, Newcastle 6. Midlands 18, Keighley 25, which I think will be into the, because they kick off earlier, so I think that's definitely into the second half. And at Derwent Park, not good reading for Anthony Money's side. Workington 4, Hunslet 24.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, that's fantastic for Hunslet point of view, isn't it? But whoa,
that is certainly not good reading for Anthony Money's side. We're back underway here from the boot of Jake Mason. We make it 3 minutes just before the half-time break. All fairness to Watson Bowas, that's a fantastic chase. He realised that no one was there and put the 10, 15, 20 metre sprint to make sure that ball didn't bounce, and he collected it on the full.
Yeah, it just shows as well, you know, he's aware, isn't he? And as I say, you just get these little glimpses of him, you know, and you think, oh, there's a right player there. And that was one of those examples where, okay, it was a mistake from his side, but he's covered up for them, hasn't he? And he's a really good teammate.
So Don's fetching it forward through Nathan Wild, plays the ball, burns dummies, and then goes himself trying to get his arm free for an offload there, but over the halfway line now are the home side. McCarran and Worthington complete that tackle. Hall goes left into the hands of Connor Robinson, looks to step back inside and then finds Paulie, gets the offload away into the hands of Louis McConnell. McConnell's on his own and Mason stopped him. Hannigan's there, it is 5 and last, but the Dons are 12 metres out.
Great defence from Mason though, he stood up so strong to McConnell.
Comes right now into the hands of Watson Bowas. Bowas then finds Craig Hall. Craig Hall's just going to put a little knee kick through, going to be collected then by Jake Carter. Carter's away, then Nadine Gebby's going to be on this left hand side. Can the Papua New Guinean? No one should stop him. Nobody's going to stop the Papua New Guinean. Broken field in front of the Dean Gebby, and he's going to put the ball down eventually for his 3rd try of the season, and with 2 minutes to go to the half-time break as we make it here. Whitehaven soon hit back. It is Doncaster 4, Whitehaven 16.
Wow, I mean, take your eyes off this game at your peril. What a bit of play that was. First of all, from Doncaster to get themselves in a tremendous position, but then the reaction, first of all, from Carter in being able to pick up the attempted kick through, and then his pass as well, which found Gebby in space, and Adine Gebby, well, he showed a clean pair of heels to the defence, didn't he? 80 metre sprint up the other end, and he made it look so easy, didn't he, as well?
He certainly did. You've said, Dave, you've seen him in them short spurts he had at Halifax, which obviously wasn't a game for Whitehaven that they got anything from. It was an early season game, but you said you saw enough in him there that he excited you. He was then out the team for a few weeks. We spoke off there that Jonty Gorley come right out with it. He wasn't fit. He's been away. He's done his fitness, and it seems to be coming good now for the Papua New Guinean.
Oh well, he certainly showed plenty of pace there, didn't he? And you know, I mean, that's one thing that if you look up and down the championship, those teams that have the bit of pace, they're usually the ones that can apply the pressure. And let's be honest, you don't see that type of try every week, do you? You know, that's fantastic. Really, really good from Whitehaven. Such an important period of the game to score as well, and to do it a man short too.
Certainly so, and it's something that Jonty Gorley remarked on so often, that he feels like his side have got pace now, that they're able to take advantage of sort of them situations when in previous seasons they haven't been able to. Jake Carter just adds the extras. He took a bit of a curve on that one from the left boot of Jake Carter. We make it 20 seconds or so to the half-time break.
They're all good kicks if they go through those posts, aren't they?
They are, yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah, they certainly are. I'm about to make it around about seconds to go. I don't know whether we'll get this game back underway from my clock at least, and we certainly haven't. So it is half time here at the Eco Power Stadium. Paul then finds Paulie takes 4 Whitehaven defenders to stop him, but not after he makes 15 metres does the big man.
It's like a human battering ram, isn't it?
I wouldn't want to come up against him, I really wouldn't. And that's why I'm sat here and not out there.
To be fair, Ferris isn't that far behind him either, running the ball on the next tackle.
And there's a lot more reasons why I'm sat here than out there, but that is definitely one of them. Brett Ferris plays the ball exactly on halfway. Burns looks to come down the short side, finds Hall, finds Jason Talley, who comes back inside. Hannigan's there, gets the offload away. It's going to be for a high tackle on Jason Talley from Lachlan Hannigan, yet again a bit reactionary as he was just coming back in defence there from Lachlan Hannigan, and an opportunity here for the Dons right from kick-off, because a reminder, Whitehaven's still down to 12.
Yes, and they'll be down to 12 for the next couple of minutes, won't they? But a good opportunity here for Doncaster, and one they haven't had to work too hard to get 10 metres from the try line with.
Ferris takes the tap, then finds Robinson, who finds Louis McConnell, the loose forward for the Dons. Atkinson's in there, the loanee from Huddersfield Giants. Ryan King stops him, but 3-4 metres out, just the left hand side of the post, and I don't care who you are not, and I repeat, you will not stop him Paulie from 3 metres out.
You know what, I mean, there was no subtlety at all with that play, was there? You can't hide a man that big, can you? But they somehow tried to do that, and he just emerged from behind the play, the ball shrugged off a couple of attempted tackles, but as you mentioned, the human force and science doesn't go that far, does it? You cannot stop Paulie from that sort of range, and he forced his way over the line. It's a great start to the second half as far as Doncaster are concerned. It's closed the gap, 8 points to 18.
It certainly has. His 5th try of the season. I imagine that most of them are probably come in similar situations to that, where they're just using him essentially as a human battering ram. There has been some criticism of Paulie that you don't get a lot of minutes out of him, that he comes on, he does 10-15 minute stints, as Connor Robinson has added the extras on. He seems to have been a lot fitter than what he has been in, say, his spells at York at the moment as Paulie, and he's got his just rewards there.
I think sometimes as well with Paulie, you need to keep him interested, you need to keep him involved, and if you can do that, you've got a motivated Paulie. He's a real asset, and perhaps as we've said, York didn't see the best of him, but that's where you want to be getting him the ball, isn't it? 5 metres out from the line, and hopefully he can burrow his way through or crash his way through like he did there.
So Jake Mason with the kick-off once again. Whitehaven will be hoping this goes better than the last kick-off they did, only at the half-time break. It is Doncaster 10, Whitehaven 18. 3 minutes into the second half here on BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. And the Dons now looking to fetch this ball forward, make it 25 metres away from their own line. It's pretty much in centre field. Burns is in there at dummy half, comes across then to McConnell, out the back to Robinson. Robinson then finds Brett Ferris, and Oscar Doran stands up on Brett Ferris, and fair play to him, stops him in his tracks. Tackles then completed by Joey Romeo and Luca Atkinson.
Brave challenge that, wasn't it, from Doran to get in on somebody so big, and
Paulie breaks and then finds the offload, gets the offload away to McConnell. Whitehaven struggling to contain Paulie in the early stages of this second half, and it's going to be another penalty here as the Dons man's gone over the horizontal. It's McConnell, Worthington's in there. Dons haven't liked it. Watson Wallace especially didn't like it, as Lucas Castle's going to get ready to come back onto the field. In fact, he's back on there now, so Whitehaven are up to a full complement of 13, and I think we're about to see Rio Corkle for the first time this afternoon as well.
Oh well, nobody needed to go in there afterwards. It was really silly, to be honest, from Whitehaven and from Doncaster as well for piling in. It was a straightforward penalty. There's no doubting the validity of the penalty and what's been given here, but I just sometimes rugby league players make me so exasperated for diving in.
Having a word here is Ryan Cox with referee Ryan King. He's pulling out Hugh Worthington as well. Last time we seen a sin bin in. Are we going to see something similar here? As he's just having a word is referee Ryan Cox. Whitehaven have just come back up to a full complement of 13. He stays on the field, does Hugh Worthington. And I've just mentioned Rio Corkle's come onto the field. It's the winger Oscar Doran that's come off. Joey Romeo's gone on the wing. We've just mentioned what a good effort he put in on Brett Ferris. I don't know if he's then
he's giving away a lot.
Yeah,
giving away a lot in size there, hasn't he? When he's gone in to tackle Ferris, and whether or not he's picked a knock up in that.
Because it was straight away after the shout maybe come from Oscar Doran as in have something there. I didn't see the physio go out to him. I'd be strange if it was a ploy. But we'll soon find out, because Burns has taken the tap now, and it's, I think Nathan Wild's now out there in a shirt with 29 on his back, because it was
they've been out at half time and managed to get a number on, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. But Burns now finds Paulie just pushes off Luca Atkinson. Welcome to Championship Rugby League, Luca Atkinson. He then hauls off Lachlan Hannigan, and it's taken 3 to defenders. They've lifted him,
and that's the key, isn't it? You've got to put numbers on someone like Paulie. You can't go one up.
Yeah, Robinson now then comes across to McConnell, bounces into the hands of the Alex Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe then is wrapped up. The Dons are putting the pressure on here in the early stages of the second half. Then comes across then to McConnell now from Burns in at dummy half. Worthington and Doran's there. Atkinson involved as well, is it? Yeah, and they're going to be stopped 8 metres out in line with the black dot. Burns is in at dummy half. Comes to the left then into the hands of Robinson. Robinson then back inside to Craig Hall. Hall's round one. Going to get the offload away. And then it's going to be wrapped up. It's McConnell. There's 3 Whitehaven defenders round him. It's going to be the 5 and last. They are to the right hand side of the post. They're about 5 metres out here at Doncaster. Burns comes back towards the middle. Finds Robinson. Robinson with a kick towards the corner. And it's going to be knocked on by Therimo. And it's going to be collected by Rio Corkill. And it's going to judge to have been. Let's wait and see. Well, we're not seeing a 0 tackle. So I don't know what Ryan Cox is given there, but Whitehaven's got the ball.
Yeah, that's the important thing, because Doncaster have been seeing far more of it in the opening stages of this second half, and it was starting to look a little bit worrying. The defence was creaking, wasn't it? But fair play, they've got the ball back now and they're trying to build away from their own end, Whitehaven.
Dons fans think that's forward courtesy. Referee Ryan Cox happy with it.
No chance it were forward.
Well, that's what I thought, but Doran now finds Lucas Castle back onto the field following that sin binning. It is going to be the 5 and last. Whitehaven short of their own 30, so it's going to have to be a good kick here, and it's going to come across to Castle. Castle's going to put it long. Therimo collects it. It is a good kick. He's on his own 10 metres collecting that. Is Therimo, but the Whitehaven chase is there, but only meet him at the 30 metre mark. And he's made a couple of metres more than that before being taken down. He hasn't actually found the floor. Therimo takes King, Atkinson and Hannigan all to stop him.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a worry on that chase for me from a Whitehaven point of view. They didn't seem as much intent as it as what we've seen on some of the earlier kicks in the game. It was a laboured chase team of about 5, and they need to up that side of the game, because Doncaster are a side that certainly can hit you.
Luke Biscoe's coming off the wing to fetch his ball forward. Just over the halfway line is the former Leeds Rhino. Burns in there at dummy half. Looks to shape the dummy. Gets away from Lucas Castle. Gets the pass again across to Boas. Then to cross the Wild. Then into the hands of Sutcliffe. Comes back inside to Boas. Boas round the back. Then finds Paulie. Steps up against Jamie Doran. And able to fetch him down is Lucas Castle.
He did well there, did Doran.
Boas then finds now Nathan Wild. Don's definitely on the front foot here. Still a couple of tackles. No, it's not. It's the 5 and last now. Burns is in there at dummy half. 10 metres out. Comes across then to Ferris. They're going for the power play. Puts a little knee kick through. Johnny Romeo's had to get there. He can't get Johnny Romeo. He goes behind him, and it's back-to-back tries for the Dons. And the Dons have reduced the deficit to 4 here in South Yorkshire. 7.5 minutes gone in the second half. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. It is Doncaster 14, Whitehaven 18.
What a clever little kick that was from Brett Ferris. I was thinking that the ball was going too wide, if you can do such a thing, but Ferris just slowed it down just for a second, weighed up the position, saw that it was Romeo up against Therimo. He's a past master at being able to get to kicks like that, and it was like threading the eye of a needle, that kick. It was a brilliant kick from Ferris, so well touched down, and we'll see whether Robinson can convert. But as you mentioned there, Jordan, back to 4 points in this game.
His second try for Doncaster this season for Beretta Therimo. In all fairness, it's only his 3rd appearance of the season for the Dons. And Connor Robinson is now going to have an opportunity right from this. Well, he's inches. I was going to give you half a metre, but I think that would be being generous. He's right on this left-hand touchline. Is Connor Robinson. He's going to come on it left-footed, which probably doesn't fall in his favour from this side. But he's 23, 24 metres on the straight, but the angle involved as well. Connor Robinson, we're right behind it, and it just falls to the right of the right-hand side post. So it's only the conversions that are keeping the Dons behind with 3 tries apiece here in South Yorkshire. We're just short of the 49th minute. Dons have scored 3 tries. Whitehaven has scored 3 tries. Jay Carter's 3 conversions compared to Connor Robinson's 1 is what gives Haven the 4-point advantage.
I'll tell you what, though, it's been a dynamic start to the second half from a Doncaster point of view, with these bigger forwards starting to charge their way through and get down the ground with great aplomb. They'll do well to hold out here, I think, will Whitehaven.
So ball is swung immediately from kick-off, finds Craig Hall. Hall's going to be stopped, eventually taken down 20 metres away from his own line. Doran and Castle in at marker, comes across then to Jason Talley. Talley then gets it across to Ferries. Ferries inside there, nearly down this left hand side of Doncaster. They're really on the front foot at the moment. Whitehaven need to try and turn the tide here. They're going to play this 3 metres short of the halfway line. Talley then finds Robinson. Robinson taking it into the middle now, finds Craig Hall, having to shift from left to right on each play. Sutcliffe now trying to hand off Jake Carter onto the Whitehaven 14 now at Doncaster, with a couple of tackles still left in the bank. Bobas then finds McConnell. McConnell just makes 12-15 metres there. The Whitehaven defence, the line speed, as you mentioned, Dave, not intense as it was in the first half. Loverdoer's out there now, throws a dummy, does Loverdoer, throws the inside then to Louis McConnell. What a turnaround here in South Yorkshire, and it's not in favour of Whitehaven. It's 3 tries in the opening 10 minutes of the second half, and the Dons have turned it round. It's Doncaster 18, Whitehaven 18, but Connor Robinson's going to have a kick from right in front. And what was said at half time, we said it just needed to be keep going, Dave Parkinson. Whatever it has said, it hasn't fallen in favour of Whitehaven.
It's not, no, but we didn't get a chance to sort of find out what Doncaster was saying as well. But what a start to the second half from them. They have just looked a completely different side. That was the first touch as well from Joe Loverdoer. He picked up out of dummy half, picked the defence apart. As you mentioned, Jordan, they were so slow around that area. The intent wasn't quite there, and as a result, they've got absolutely burned. Louis McConnell, well, I said he was a player to watch out for. He's a player that I've rated for a number of years. He's one of those quiet achievers. I'm surprised that he hasn't been picked up further up the rugby league chain again, in all honesty. Great bit of support, and a great play from Doncaster. I know you're shaking your head a little bit at with incredulity, to be honest, because it's like chalk and cheese, isn't it? The start of the second half to how it ended in the first. But Doncaster with this opportunity with Robinson to go into the lead at 20 points to 18. We didn't think we'd be saying that a few minutes ago.
I didn't think I'd be saying that just 12 minutes into the second half, Dave. Let's be saying that 11 and a half as we make it, because that scoreboard clock hasn't been stopped once again. But yeah, absolute chalk and cheese. It's like another 13 blokes have put the shirts on and gone back out for Whitehaven in the second half, and Jonty Gorley will be ripping his hair out at the start. His side have served up in the second half. Mason with the kick-off. But that is what they need. It's a knock-on from Luke Briscoe from kick-off, and Whitehaven need to try and get back into this. They need to get back onto the front foot. That could be the opportunity to get back on it.
You know, and there's no excuse for that type of thing. Normally you'd want to try and sugarcoat it, but you can't sugarcoat an error like that. You know, he's a vastly experienced winger who's played at the top level, and he's just took his eyes completely off the ball, and as a result he's put it down. And Whitehaven off an opportunity now. Let's see what they can do.
Scrum down, head and feed, 10 metres out. It's going to be Lachlan Hannigan to feed the scrum. Hold at the back. Doran then finds Hannigan, going to try and go for it on play one. Lachlan Hannigan is going to be held up a metre short. It's going to be a penalty here for offside. And if it was 18-4, I might have suggested, take the 2, but you're 2 points down now, so I don't think you take the 2, or do you take the 2 to level the scores? We're waiting to see. They're waiting for the decision out there. You haven't had a lot of possession. What do? You'd elect to keep the ball. That's the final option. Hannigan now takes a tap, 10 metres out, finds Hugh Worthington. The Welsh international is going to be stopped just to the right of the post. 2-3 metres out. Jamie Doran lying in wait. Dummy half goes left to Lachlan Hannigan. Then finds Jake Carter. Carter steps back inside. Paulie's there. And then it takes a couple of defenders to push him back. 10. Make that 15 metres they've pushed him back. Jake Carter there. Fantastic work from the Dons.
Well, initially I was thinking it was a poor effort from Paulie, but he just pushed him into the path of Sutcliffe and got marched back 15 metres, didn't he, Carter?
So Castle's now pulled down 10 short of the line. 53 and a half gone here in Doncaster. What a turnaround it's been from the home side. Lachlan Hannigan. That's going to be a penalty.
He's just shaking his head there.
Yeah, I thought Hugh Worthington had give himself up there as Lachlan Hannigan was exploiting that gap. King's going to try and scoot over from dummy half. He does it too often, does Ryan King, the Italian international. Whitehaven are back in it. How often do we see that from Ryan King? Just jumping in at dummy half, and that's his 6th try of the season, just to the right hand side of the post. We didn't expect it to be swinging from back and forth, but it is here in South Yorkshire, Dave, and Whitehaven are back in front.
This is why I love rugby league. It can just turn around like that, can't it? So the error coming in at the restart from Briscoe, and then some tremendous strength shown there by King. As you mentioned, he's done it on a previous 5 occasions this season. He's just found the smallest of gaps and stretched his way through, planted the ball down. They're in front again, Whitehaven, 22 points to 20 with the kick to come from Carter, and the way he's been kicking, I know I'm going to put the mockers on him here.
I don't know. Don't even say it.
He's right in front of the post, though.
Yeah, he's right in front of the post.
He should be expected.
I will always say I've seen them miss from here. I have seen them miss, because I'm not going to put the mockers on him, and I'm not going to write down the score, what I think it should be after the end of this. But Jake Carter's going to have an option here. It's Whitehaven's 4th of the afternoon, and Jake Carter does knock it over from right in front. So it is Doncaster 20, Whitehaven 24. 15 minutes gone in the second half here on BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. Salford 10, London 0 in the Super League. Batley 16, Sheffield 18. Bradford 26, Barrow 12. Featherstone 34, Swinton 22. York 14, Widnes 6. Full times, it's Cornwall 13, Newcastle 6. Midlands 18, Keighley 25, also a full time. Workington staging a mini revival. Workington 16, Hunslet 24 at Derwin Park. Jake Carter collects the kickoff, finds Lucas Castle. Castle fetches it forward, and he's the man to be put down onto his back, 18 metres away from his own line. Carter in there at dummy half, finds Owen McCarron. Shouts her forward once again. I feel like that's just an occasional chant that seems to come from the Doncaster fans. As Dean Gebby's in there at dummy half now, the winger helping his forwards out, and he's made it to 33 metres away from his own try line. Doran now finds Hugh Worthington. Worthington's going to easily make 10 metres. Gets the offload away, probably wasn't needed. Scruffy. Oh, that looked a little bit it looked a little bit to me on Lachlan Hannigan from Conor Robinson, but okay.
He kind of pushed the arm up, didn't he? He sort of wrestled around the ball.
Jake Mason now takes Whitehaven over the halfway line. It is the 5 and last. It's going to be Jamie Doran in there at dummy half. Goes left into the hands of Carter. Carter's going to come at this left-footed. Craig Hall just underneath it yet again. So just nonchalantly just looks, the ball's there, I better collect it, and now fetches it forward. And that is ripped, lost, knocked on. Craig Hall shouted for the penalty straight away, but judged to have lost that, and we said it can be so nonchalant. Can the Dons fullback and maybe a little bit too risk 3 on that occasion?
Yeah, he was far too casual there. I've always preferred him playing in the centres, if I'm being totally honest, rather than at fullback. I think he can be a little bit too casual at fullback at times. That was one of those occasions. The ball was out in front of him, to be honest, so it was the prime for the error.
A rip on the arm, just a knock on the arm, just to have judged it. And it's obviously the style these days. Run with it one-handed. No one runs with it with 2 hands anymore. But fallen foul, I should say, have the Dons. It's fallen in favour of Whitehaven. Now ball's come right from the scrum into the hands of Rio Corkill, come through a couple of pairs of hands, and that is just a knock on. And while I was just about to say it's an opportunity for Whitehaven to stay on the front foot, Rio Corkill knocks in there, was attempting to play the ball. It was a clean knock on. There was a little bit of a foot in there, but I'm just going to say it was just a clean knock on. It's an error there from Rio Corkill, and we make it 57 and a half gone, because Ryan Cox has stopped the clock. It still remains Dons 20, Whitehaven 24.
It's intriguingly poised, is this game, isn't it? You just get the feeling, and I hope it doesn't come down to an error like that, for example, what we see. But Doncaster still with plenty of work to do, taking possession 20 metres away from their own line.
Yeah, threw the ball over to the right hand side. Tally's in there at dummy half, comes across back to Luke Briscoe. Had an opportunity to make up for his error now as Briscoe, but he's being pushed back a metre or 2 there as the winger. Castle is going to be standing at mark. He'll be all alone, but it's now going to be Brad Knowles who's back out there. I think he's replaced Paulie, who's now left the field in the last couple of minutes. Loverdua's in there now. Loverdua's going to just fetch it forward. He replaced the Greg Burns in there at hooker. He put in a good 45-minute stint before Loverdua's come on.
It's a nice change you can make, that, isn't it? Bringing a player like Loverdua on.
Certainly is. Robinson looks to step back inside, gets away from Hugh Worthington, and it's going to be Luke Atkinson that tries to get there. And good work from Lachlan Hannigan, just standing in front of Craig Hall to make sure that pass couldn't come in. But the Dons are back on the front foot. It's going to be the 5 and last. Nearly in danger there of giving away 6 again. Craig Hall now comes at it right-footed. Dean Gebby's going to be there. It's a fantastic kick. He rises high, does Luke Briscoe. He's got it on that right-hand side. I told you he rose the highest, did Luke Briscoe. And it's going to be the Dons' 5th of the afternoon. Scores a level here at the Eco Power. 59 minutes gone. It's Dons 24, Whitehaven 24.
Definitely an I score, you score sort of game, and now we're gone now. What a lovely kick that was, to be honest. Steepled into the corner from Craig Hall. Luke Briscoe, that's one thing he is really, really good at, isn't it? Contesting when the ball goes high in the air. To be fair to Dean Gebby, he had no chance of getting that. There was only ever going to be one winner. Luke Briscoe just showing his wares as he has done throughout his days. Try number 126 of his career now.
You've got more stats than what I've got. I've just got that it's his third try of the season for the former Leeds Rhinos. Spent time at Featherstone as well, of course, either side of a spell at Leeds, and who's now here at Doncaster. And Connor Robinson, probably his more favoured side coming at it now. We've seen him have a couple of attempts on this side, but it's still going to be a difficult kick for the Dons halfback. Yet again, he's going to be in. He's fetched in an extra metre or two. Ryan Cox has told him he's allowed to do that because Briscoe wasn't quite tight to the touchline when he grounded the ball. Ryan King's left the field. Not a change I would have made, but I'm not getting paid to be the head coach, as I'm not too quite sure who's come off, because Hugh Worthington's also come off as well, and Guy Graham and Ross Ainley is out there, so I think we're maybe going to see I don't know. Who's moving?
That's a poor kick.
Well, yeah, poor kick from Robinson. That makes it 24-24. I think we're about to see Guy Graham in at 13. Ross Ainley, a prop to replace Hugh Worthington, whether he's just spelling Ryan King just to try and maybe get him a little bit of energy back in there. But it's like you say, it's not a change I would have made. But
yeah, I mean, he's playing middle, isn't he, King? So you do tend to rotate your middles in the way that coaches approach games these days, and he's got to be on the 60-minute mark. Give him 5-6 minutes, he'll be on for the closing stages, without doubt.
Well, soon wait and see. The kick-off comes. Briscoe's able to get the offload away. It's now into the hands of Jason Talley, is it?
Boas,
Watson Boas has spent out that tackle as well, staying down there with holding his arm. He's Curtis T at his back up, trying to get back in the defensive line. Don's at 8 short of halfway, and I think it might only be first, maybe even only second tackle. McConnell now.
I think he's nobbled himself there as Boas. He tried to get up so quickly, and he's overstretched something in his ankle, and as a result, he's limping away.
McConnell's struggling now as well, but he gets up and plays the ball, coming along across the line, finds Craig Hall. Hall then finds Jason Talley. Talley's nearly through. What a completely different second half that we saw to the first here in South Yorkshire. Lachlan Hannigan struggling now as well. Brett Ferris pushes off Rio Corker. Luke Atkinson does well to stop the offload. Both are wrapped up.
I bet the two of them players just about come to Brett Ferris's age.
Probably, yeah, not too far away actually. As now coming across, couple of pairs of hands. Nathan Wild trying to get in. 5 and last, but the Dons are 2-3 metres out. Burns is back out there now, coming left into the hands of Connor Robinson. Robinson puts a little knee kick forward, just going to be too deep, and it means Whitehaven will survive, and they'll have a 7 tackle set and a tap on the 20.
You know what, I think I would have been tempted to run that ball rather than kick it. I know that you said that you're always pleased to see a kick at the end of a set, but for me, they were prone down this left-hand side, and I'm thinking, go for it, and they didn't, and as a result, they've given away a 7 tackle set, like you said.
Guy Graham now the man to play this ball, just hold down just short of his own 40. Mason's diving in there at dummy half, trying to catch the markers out, but hasn't done so. But in fair play to him, has then made 5-6 metres post contact and has been fetched down 2 metres short of halfway. Goes across now to Ross Ainley. Ainley just sticks his head down and runs, trying to get the offload away. Not needed really from Ross Ainley. When you're trying to find as many metres as you can upfield, that's not needed from the Whitehaven prop.
Definitely not needed that. He's put him under plenty of pressure, because one thing Doncaster have been doing well in this second half is making metres and turning the ball over on the halfway line. You're inviting them onto you.
So it's now Alex Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe pulled down 33 metres out. Burns is back in there at dummy half, takes it to the line, then finds Robinson, finds Ferris, stands up there, does Lachlan Hannigan. Atkinson gets involved as well. 22 metres out now.
Yeah, Boas has limped off, by the way.
He has, so that's why Burns will be back out there. So that's now Brad Knowles to fetch it forward. It is the 5 and last. The Dons are 15 metres out. Going to go right into the hands then. Couple of pairs of hands. Loverdua puts a little kick in, and Gebby Day, is he going to have to get there? He's going to have to knock it dead. Has it gone dead? Tap 20, 7 tackle set.
He was very casual there, wasn't he, Dean Gebby? He got Sutcliffe racing down on him, and then he's not played it from the correct position either.
Hasn't played it from the correct position, no he hasn't, and it's gone back to Lachlan Hannigan. Hannigan's then able to take the tap, and it's just all slowed down. Curtis T is now the man to fetch it forward, and maybe a bit of game management from this set from Whitehaven, maybe up the jumper stuff, get it down the middle, and if you can, try and find the touchline. Just slow it down maybe just a little bit, trying to get back.
Yeah, it's complete and chase, isn't it? That's what you want to do now.
Ross Ainley, he fetches it down, he's through the middle. He's pulled down 3-4 metres short of halfway. Mason's in there at dummy half once again, now finds Lucas Castle. Castle takes Whitehaven over the halfway line. I think he was trying to get his arm free there, was the Australian, but it's taken 4 defenders to stop him. Jamie Doran in at dummy half now. 64.5 gone here in Doncaster. That's a good run for Owen McCarran. McCarran is going to be stopped, however, still a couple of tackles left. Whitehaven 35 away from the Doncaster line. Guy Graham now pulses off one there, does Guy Graham. It is going to be the 5 and last, and he's just going to stop the play here because Brad Knowles went down. And is this an opportunity to set up for a cheeky drop goal? The fact that you know the defensive line's going to be reset, Dave, and they're not going to have an opportunity, a Whitehaven switched on here, could it be an opportunity?
I mean, potentially, yeah. For me, it's a little bit early still, you know, with sort of 64 minutes of the game gone. But, hey, you take your chances when they come, don't you? But, yeah, I think there's a bit of friendly fire that's gone the way of Brad Knowles. Got on the wrong side of the collision and ended up colliding with one of his own players.
So Jamie Doran, the man, he's going to leave the field. It's going to be James Newton to go out in there back in at hooker. We make it 15 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Scoreboard clock hasn't stopped. I tell you, man, I don't think we haven't seen yet. It's Jose Kenga this afternoon down below us, but Carter's going to put the kick in over the top. Craig Hall is going to be there to collect it. The Whitehaven chase is there, but he's got away from 1, got away from 2, can't get away from the 3rd, who was the final man, which is Rio Corkill, playing this 18 metres away from his own line. As then Farimo's going to make 12, 13, 14, gets the offload away into the hands of Jason Talley. Talley then going to be making it exactly just short of halfway, only a metre short. McCarran and Hannigan is in there. Going to go right is Brad here, who dived in at dummy half. Graham's there. McCarran is in there. Is it Ross Ainley as well in there? Yes, it is. Dons are playing this 42 away from the Whitehaven line. Burns just gets it across to Louis McConnell. McConnell's going to be pushed back. Good defence there from Whitehaven. Guy Graham and Lucas Castle all involved. Going to come left into the hands then of Robinson. Then finds Craig Hall. They've got an overlap. Craig Hall. It's going to be hauled down through Joey Romeo. It's the 5 and last, but they're 22 metres out. Tally going to look to come down this short side, find Brett Ferris. Ferris then back inside to Craig Hall. Hall's then going to look to put it right, kick footed. Briscoe rises the highest. It's going to be knocked on, and then Dingaby finds Broken Field. Does the Papanugan in? He's off down that left hand side again. Luke Briscoe just holds him down, or he was away trying to get a fast play of the ball. Curtis T is in there now. Curtis T is going to take Whitehaven over the halfway line. Fast play of the ball. Carter's in there. Then comes right to Jake Mason. Mason's looking for an opportunity. Then comes right now into the hands of Joey Romeo. Romeo's just going to settle it down and fetch it forward. He's nearly through. Is the Kiwi. 22, 23 metres out now. 13 and a half to go here in South Yorkshire. 24 points apiece. It's a 6 again. It's the first one of the game. Lucas Castle now. 15 metres out. Newton in there at dummy half. You were right, Dave. Ryan King's getting ready to come back on down below us. Ball in the hands now with Jake Carter. Then comes across to Hannigan. Hannigan on to Owen McCarran. McCarran's going to be hauled down. 8 metres out. Lucas Castle's gone out there. Come off. Ryan King's out there. Down on his haunches is Lucas Castle.
Good defence from Carter, that from Doncaster now.
Carter plays the ball. Newton comes out the back then to Ross Ainley on the crash ball. It's going to be put down onto his back. He's 5 metres out, left hand side of the post. Newton comes right to King. King then. Ryan King. Ooh. I think the posts have come to Doncaster's aid. It's got to be rolled up over the line. I think if the post wasn't there, he might have got over there with the Italian international. It's going to be the 5 and last. 12 and a half to go. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Newton in there at dummy half. It's going to come right to Hannigan. Lachlan Hannigan then gets it across to Atkinson. Atkinson out the back to Mason. Can Jake Mason get over, find Joey Romeo? They've just run out of room at Whitehaven, and it's going to be a turnover ball They just run out of room on this right hand side, and it's going to be a play of the ball 10 metres out.
Tell you what, the commitment from both these sides is tremendous. It's gone all a bit helter-skelter the last couple of minutes. We saw Doncaster putting loads of pressure on them. We see Whitehaven go up the other end. It was a foot race a little bit earlier in that set, wasn't it, between Dean Gebby and Briscoe, with Briscoe just about reeling him in. Tell you what, he's still going end to end this. He's going right down to the wire, this.
Certainly is. 12 minutes to go. Jonty Gorley's played all his cards. That his final interchange with Ryan King coming back onto the field. So it's going to be stopped there is the Dons man, which will be Connor Atkinson. It's impressed me, Luke Atkinson, on debut for Whitehaven this afternoon. Ferremo's now fetched it forward.
Yeah, he's been keen to get involved, hasn't he, Atkinson? Really has sort of put his
Ferremo, incorrect play, the ball, knock on. Puts his hand up there, does Ferremo. Hannigan and forcing the error as Atkinson and Joey Romeo celebrate with him. Just short. 1,740. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a fantastic attendance. There's a lot more here.
Great attendance.
Yeah, compared to previous seasons where the Dons have struggled to try and attract the crowd. So that's a fantastic one here in South Yorkshire this afternoon.
I know they've had a bit of a girls' festival on before the game, haven't they? Which has obviously impressed, and people have stopped behind, which is great.
Certainly have. So ball's come left into the hands of Jake Mason, runs it forward, does the Italian international. Is he going to be pushing to touch? Is he called held, pushing to touch? He's neither, and he's eventually pulled down, stopped in the field of play. Just comes across then to Carter, then comes across to Owen McCann, spins out of one tackle.
It's a good job he stopped then, wasn't it?
Yeah, he certainly did. Newton in there at dummy half, now comes across to Carter. Carter runs across the line, just a pop-up pass to Ryan King. King's 10 metres out, make that 8 metres, centre field. Going to have options right and left of Whitehaven. Going to go left into the hands of Jake Carter, then comes across, not the best pass towards Curtis Tier. Awful pass, if we're being completely honest. And it means that Whitehaven have gifted position back, 10 minutes to go.
Well, I like the ambition, but it didn't match it, did it? The skill level, unfortunately, from a Whitehaven point of view. I just get the feeling that little rest that King has had has really been able to allow him to get back on, and he's back at it. He's like a Duracell bunny, isn't he? He's involved in all the good bits at the moment as far as Whitehaven are concerned. So it's going back on.
He's had a recharge. See what I did there, Patrice?
I lined it up for you.
I'm not normally one for puns, as our Barrow commentator Dan Payne will tell you. He loves a pun, does Dan, and I'm normally telling him off, but we've got a stoppage in play here, which is why we've got the opportunity to have a pun or two, as Luke Briscoe is needing some treatment. He went down just a little bit awkwardly in that tackle, and referee Brian Cox initially didn't see anything in it, and he's just having a word with the Whitehaven players. I don't think there's anything particularly in there that's going to say this is going to be a penalty, and I don't think it should be. It's just he went down awkwardly in the tackle.
I think it's in the aftermath of collecting that pass, wasn't it? You know, when it went to ground, and hopefully he's able to continue. And the thumbs up has come, so Luke Briscoe will continue in this game. We're still locked at 24 points each. Wow.
I don't know, James Newton's getting pulled out here. Is it maybe going on report? Maybe just because of it, but
I'm going to chat with both captains.
And the fact that Ferris is there as well. Yeah, it's going on report. So maybe just referee Ryan Cox didn't particularly say anything, but he's maybe had a word or something from the touch judge just to say, I maybe want you to someone else to have a look at that, but as Luke Briscoe is going to tell him to play the ball. He's told him to go back twice. He hasn't moved and just said, "Oh, just play it then."
Very laissez-faire attitude from the referee there.
Go back. Oh, just play it there then. But now Don's are here. Robinson bounces, and it's going to be. Is it collected? Jason Talley. He's done amazingly to keep that in his hands there as Jason Talley, because it was an awful pass from Connor Robinson. Something you don't say all that often.
No, it would have been so easy for him to drop it, but the way that he was able to take that in. Fair play to him.
So it's going to come down the short side into Robinson. Robinson's going to put it left-footed. He's going to try and find the touchline. Mason able to keep it in the field of play. We make it 9 to go, just over 9 here. Jake Mason's nearly through the line there. He's through with the Italian international. He's on his own. He's Jake Mason. Can he find some support? He gets past Craig Hall. He doesn't get past Craig Hall. In fact, Craig Hall had got it on, but then he showed some signs of some injury there. Is Jake Mason? He's getting up slowly to play the ball. He's going to have to stop here.
Yeah, he's not a well man, is he?
He's not at all. And Whitehaven are out of interchanges. So if he's got to leave the field, it'll have to be with a head knock and then hope the game finishes within 15 minutes.
You know what? He was so brave, wasn't he? The way that he took that carry in, and to be fair to Hall, he stood up on him as well, didn't he? And put him down. I have to admit, I didn't see anything in
it. No, I didn't see anything in it at all.
Collision.
No, I didn't see anything in it, but you could tell straight away from when he hit the floor that he wasn't the as you say, he wasn't a well man. Like you say, Whitehaven have used all of their interchanges, so if he leaves the field, it's going to have to be a head assessment, then hope the game finishes in the next 15 minutes, so then not haul a other player off. Whitehaven have fallen foul of that once, you know, a few years back, when Gardy Charlton was in charge. It must have been, it was back in League One, and if I remember rightly, it was the only defeat that Whitehaven had at home that season, and they finished the game with 12 men, sort of last 4 to 5 minutes, and North Wales scored back-to-back tries.
Right.
So I'm not preempting anything, but Whitehaven have fallen foul of that before, of sort of using their interchanges early doors. Like you say, it's a good few seasons ago now. It would have been back in 2019, so obviously 5 seasons ago. But referee Ryan Cox just having a word with his touch judge, and yet again, it might be one that, well, he's obviously got concussion, so it's something I might want to be checked, but I can't. I'm not expecting a penalty, anything come with it. As you said, Dave, we didn't see anything.
Yeah, and do they potentially put it on report and let someone else have a look at it later on?
So it's going to be Oscar Doran to come back on the field if Jake Mason needs to leave here, and I imagine he's going to have to, because as I said, he didn't look a well man at all. Was he okay? I'll be surprised.
Wow, he's given the ball back. He is going to play on.
I'd be surprised. I'm really surprised, but he's maybe just needed a second there as Jake Mason. You've seen he had that little blow out of his cheeks, but it just means it completely obviously neutralises that situation there as well, where the Doncaster defence were at 6s and 7s and now had an opportunity to reset. Just under 9 minutes to go here in South Yorkshire. It's now still 24 points apiece.
Now I'd take the drop goal.
Okay, Newton in there at dummy half, going to go left into the hands of Ryan King. A Whitehaven setting up for that here, trying to throw the offload. It's come off James Newton's head. Not expecting that where the Whitehaven, the Dons have been able to regather.
What a turnover.
That's a knock on. It is a turnaround. It was a turnaround, but then the Dons knock on at dummy half. 8 minutes 20 to go here in South Yorkshire. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. It's Doncaster 24. It's Whitehaven 24. And I'll say it again, the championship is serving up another instant classic, Dave Parkinson.
It's a thriller, isn't it? You know, you just think somebody just take control of the game. All Whitehaven had to do, just drive and drive and drive for the post, have a drop goal. As it was, a strange type of offload under pressure. I know that these things happen, and then Sutcliffe knocks on. And that looks forward from the base. That was forward straight away.
Wow. Straight away. Whitehaven, their own worst enemy there. You've got 8 minutes to go. You don't need to do plays like that. Whitehaven being their own worst enemy. And scrum down, head and feet to the Dons in the exact same place where the scrum was formed in Whitehaven's favour.
Well, the rugby smarts seem to have deserted both sides, don't they, at the moment? It's amazing what the heat can do and what the pressure of a situation, 24 points each, can do to you. And Doncaster now taking possession, and they'll run it through Farimo down this left-hand side.
Fetches it forward, trying to get him to find touch. He throws the offload. This offload's going to go out there, and that's going to be a knock-on. Is it a knock-on? It's got to be. Referee Ryan Cox, he has decided it's not a knock-on. It's gone backwards from the hands of Jason Talley, and then he's made them come back 12 metres.
Well, somebody just needs to complete this set.
Someone just needs to take a hold of this. It's there for a Robinson or a Carter or a Boas or a Hannigan. It can't be Boas, he's not out there. But someone just needs to take this game by the scruff of the neck and just say, let's do this. Greg Burns is trying to do that by diving from dummy half.
That's a great run from Burns, that 15 metres gained on that carry.
Taking the Dons over the halfway line, 42 metres away from the Whitehaven try line. We make it 6.5 to go. The scoreboard says a minute to go. That tells you how long it hasn't been stopped. 24 all. I hope they're not Connor Robinson here. No, he was initially. It's going to come back to Craig Hall.
He's going for it.
Nah, it's nowhere near. It's going to fall short and wide. Mason collects, then finds a Dean Gebby. Gebby's trying to get away from one. He got away from two. He stepped up Paulie. I'd try and get away from Paulie as well, but he's being wrapped up 15 metres out, has the Papua New Guinean. Carter's in there at dummy half.
He got overshadowed there, didn't he, by Paulie?
Not many don't. He's the size of an oak tree. 6 minutes to go as we make it here in Doncaster. Curtis T, a fantastic run from Curtis T, but he has been smashed. That's a knock on. That's been a smash there by Paulie. Curtis T is not happy with the decision. Curtis T says he's been taken over the horizontal.
And he can kick the ball away as much as he wants, but you're not going to get a change of situation or a change of decision.
They've had somewhere that there's 4 to go of the Doncaster coach and staff. We make it 5.5. So there's, whichever way you look at it, there's still a good few minutes left here. The scoreboard says 80.
We can have 3 tries yet, isn't it?
It's amazing we haven't had any tries. How skeltered it's been in the last 15 minutes. But the Dons trying to make noise here, trying to push at the scrum of Whitehaven. It goes right, Loverdo, then finds Brad here. Another instant classic here on the Championship, brought to you by BBC Radio Cumbria Sports Online. Alex Sutcliffe is the man now to fetch it forward. We're in drop goal territory here. Burns is in there at dummy half. In comes across then to Brad Knowles. Robinson's there.
I was going to say, he's keeping himself central, isn't he?
He is. It's going to come to Robinson now, trying to get it on. Connor Robinson, they've dropped the goal over of Doncaster. We make it 5 to go, but the Dons take the lead once more. BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online. It is Doncaster 25, it's Whitehaven 24. Is there more drama to come in this one, or do Whitehaven fall foul of a 1-point defeat?
I certainly hope that there's more drama to come, but that was just good play from Doncaster. They lined it up, they got back to basics, drove it straight through the middle, back to Connor Robinson, straight and true through those posts, and they're up by a point, 25-24.
Kick-off isn't elected to go short, so Whitehaven still feel there's enough time for them to have a few sets. The Dons man's taken down, 18 away from his own line, and this is going to be the slowest set of 6 you'll ever see, as Alex Sutcliffe is now the man to fetch it forward just over the 20 metre mark. Halls is in there at dummy half. Hall's going to scoot. He's made 10 metres by doing that. Fetch down just over the 30. Carter and Newton's in there. Burns in there now. Scoots once again, then finds Luke Briscoe. Briscoe's trying to spin out there to tackle. Instinct there was to throw the offload, maybe forgetting he was a point ahead, but kept hold of the ball.
I think he had a word from Burns, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did. Nathan Wild now. 5 and last. Don's just a metre short of halfway. We make it 3 minutes 40 to go here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sports Online, and that's fantastic game management, or attempted game management in fact it is, as Craig Hall's just found touch there. It's going to be a scrum down head and feet to Haven. They need to form the scrum. It's going to be 20 metres away from their own line. They've got 80 metres to go. 3 minutes 20 as we make it.
I think Robinson's had the nod that there's about 3 minutes left as well, because he looked up to the guy on the bench who sort of held 3 fingers up to him.
Fetching it forward now, Whitehaven. Joey Romeo. He's only made a metre forward. Incorrect play of the ball. Is it a penalty? It's a penalty. I think he's got away with one there as Joey Romeo. I don't think that was a penalty, but referee Ryan Cox does, and that's the most important thing, Dave Parkinson.
Certainly is. There's a real chance here for Whitehaven. Can they get themselves far enough down the ground to either level it up or even try a Hail Mary sort of play?
So they're going to take the tap here to Whitehaven. Tap 5 over halfway. Corkhill then finds Lachlan Hannigan, who finds Ross Ainley. Ainley put down onto his back.
Difficult carry that, did well.
Newton in there at dummy half. Comes right into the hands of Luca Atkinson. Met there by Brett Ferris. Probably double his age, or pretty won't be far off. Goes left. King then out the back to Carter. Carter then in the hands to McCarron. Just needs something to take the lead here to Whitehaven. Newton in a dummy half. Then comes finds Guy Graham. Jake Carter's already knocked a drop goal over this season. Will he do another? He's in position, is Jake Carter. He's going for it, is Jake Carter.
Yes. Oh,
we're 25 points apiece here at Doncaster. Whitehaven, it was here a few seasons ago where Whitehaven drew 25 all with Sheffield. It's 25 all now. We make it just under 2 minutes to go here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online. Dave Parkinson.
A levelled up drop goal. I tell you what, they did so well. They lined it up again. Coolest man of the ground, Jake Carter, got the ball over the post. 25 points each into these closing stages.
We make it 90 seconds to go. So surely Craig Hall, right, do they go short or do they drill it long? Do they go for the win, or are they happy just to say, Whitehaven, I want you to go 90 metres? They want Whitehaven to come 90 metres. It's a wicked kick-off. Carter takes his time, and then it's going to be Ross Ainley to fetch it forward.
Now you concentrate every single play the ball and making sure you get it right.
Play the ball, play it correctly, make sure your foot's on it. Newton in there at dummy half. Owen McCarron. A hush has come over here.
Everyone's
anxiety, anxiety on both sides. Newton in there at dummy half makes 10, 15 metres, then finds a Dean Gebby. Trying to offload it himself is the Papua New Guinean.
Oh, here he goes.
He's through, he's nearly through. Oh, Papua New Guinean, what's up? Newton in there. Ryan King now going to fetch Whitehaven over the halfway line. And Whitehaven going to have another opportunity to knock over another 1 pointer to grab the victory. They're 40 metres out into the hands of Dean Gebby once more. Gebby then finds Jay Carter. No, it doesn't. It comes off. Oh, it's going to then be a penalty for offside. We make it 20 seconds to go. That was the last opportunity for Whitehaven. If Doncaster got an opportunity.
Hall dumps it into touch and gains a good 20 metres. Wow, tell you what, they have got a chance here.
BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online.
Have Doncaster.
We make it, the time is up. We're in the hands of the timekeeper. The Dons fetch it forward. They're 32, 33 metres out. Burns is in there. Paulie now. Fetches it forward.
Great run.
Robinson should be in position. Got to be in position. Do they go early? Do they feel they need to go early? It's going to go right into the hands of Nathan Wild.
He's been a good addition this afternoon.
Robinson's in position. Robinson is in position.
Here he
Connor
comes.
Robinson. Connor Robinson. Does it go left?
It's
missed as Connor Robinson. It remains Doncaster 25, Whitehaven 25. How long's left? Only the timekeeper knows. Joey Romeo fetches it forward. I feel like I can hear myself in this stand, I'll be honest. I feel like I'm going right across the pitch. Curtis Tier fetches it forward now for Whitehaven. We are in the hands of the timekeeper. I make it with a minute over. Jake Mason now scooting from dummy half. There's the hooter trying to fetch it through. It's point shared here.